So, Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and people have had opinions on it, including myself. And let me just go ahead and say, there is a lot of good stuff in here. And this is not our review of Mortal Kombat 11. We are going to do a review of Mortal Kombat 11, and in that review, I will talk about a lot of the positives that this game has. And one of those positives is the story mode, and we're actually going to do a spoiler talk of that story mode later this week. And when we do that spoiler talk, ooh boy, I can't wait to come in here and talk about how good that story was. But this ain't the review, and this ain't the spoiler talk. This is a video that needs to be made to talk about some of the problems with this game. But let me give you a little bit of backstory on what I was thinking when I went into Mortal Kombat 11. I went into this game very excited because I really enjoyed the towers from the previous Mortal Kombat games. I really enjoyed the Krypt from the previous Mortal Kombat games. And now, it looked like it was going to be taking the towers and the Krypts and throwing in there the customization element of Injustice 2. And I loved the customization element of Injustice 2. I know that it was all cosmetic. I know that it was random. I know that in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really matter to the overall performance of the game. But when it comes to fighting games, I like those little customization things. I enjoy that. And also when it comes to characters that I know and I follow their backstories, I enjoy getting to see all the different ways that I can spice up their looks. It's a fun little thing to throw in there. But also, it adds tons and tons of single-player content to the game. When it comes to fighting games, I go online every now and again, but overall, I enjoy single-player content way more in my fighting games. I know that makes me a filthy casual, call me that all you want in the comments down below, but hey man, there's a lot of us filthy casuals out there who just play fighting games for the single player content, and the towers and the Krypt and this new customization element from Injustice 2, that's tons of single player content in there. And I know people might look at that armor system from Injustice 2 and they might say, oh, well, that's just a big scam to get you to open up lots of loot boxes. But here's the thing. I never had to pay for any of those mother boxes over in Injustice 2. In fact, I'll be real with you, I don't even know if you could pay for the mother boxes in Injustice 2. I don't even know if that was an option in there. I looked online, I couldn't find it. It seems like they all just got unlocked in the game itself. And you might say, oh, well, doesn't that take forever? No, not really. I would play Injustice 2 for an hour and walk away with 20 mother boxes, each of which would contain between 3 to 6 different pieces of armor for my characters, and I would unlock new pieces of armors and new shaders for my characters as I was earning those loot boxes, and then I would earn money just from opening up those mother boxes that I could then go and immediately spend on other mother boxes. I play Injustice 2 for an hour, I walk away with so much content. I would walk away with so many pieces of armor that I could then customize my characters with, and it was a blast. So I looked at the upcoming Mortal Kombat 11 and I thought, okay, the tower system that I always loved, combined with the Krypt system that I always loved, combined with this new armor system that I love from Injustice 2, oh my goodness, how could this possibly go wrong? Oh, it went so wrong in ways that I couldn't even fathom. I mean, I don't want to say I couldn't even fathom it in terms of I don't know how they screwed this up so bad. I know how they screwed this up so bad, and we will get into that. But I can't comprehend that people would look at this and be willing to screw it up this bad. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, I need to talk about this. I need to come in here and I need to point out the problems in this game, not because I feel like, oh, that's my burden. I have to be the one to come out here and speak the truth. No, I'm one of thousands of people on the internet right now saying the same thing. I had to come in here and talk about because it was driving me insane. Because I literally, on the night that this game came out, I downloaded it at midnight, we played the story mode a little bit on stream. As soon as I entered the stream, I stopped the story mode, I decided to start playing all that single player content. I wanted to start unlocking all these pieces of armor. And I literally stayed up until 8 a.m. Not because I was enjoying it, but because I was just so baffled. I just could not understand what I was seeing before me. So I had to get these feelings out before my head exploded. However, I didn't want to make a video immediately. I wanted to wait because after playing through this, I started thinking, how could this be? And then I realized I know exactly how this could be. And I could feel it. I could feel there was a new story coming out. I could just feel that something was about to come out. And now it has. So I didn't want to come in here before that happened because, as I said, I could just feel it. This game was drenched in this upcoming controversy. So much so that I called it like a baseball player pointing towards the outfield. And now it's here. It has happened. And I apologize for being very vague, but that's how you build tension. So I'm going to start today. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to point out the flaws with the towers, with the crypts, with the armor, for anybody out there who has not been following this story. And then I will lead into the big thing that came out that I was waiting on. And let me just go ahead and say, yes, I am aware that an update did just recently come out for this game. And by recently, I mean literally last night while I was recording this episode. Everything that you're about to hear is take 2 on this. I recorded this episode right after checking on Mortal Kombat 11 to see if all the problems were still there. Then as soon as I was done recording, I started playing Mortal Kombat 11 again, and the update was now there. So I had to go back and re-record my thoughts on this, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should just not talk about this stuff at all, because they have tried to fix these problems, but in all honesty, the problems aren't really fixed. The problems are still there, they're just not as bad. But even if they did 100% fix everything that I had problems with in this game, what they initially launched says a lot about what went into the making of this game, and that's what I'm trying to talk about here today. That is what my end hypothesis is. That is what everything in this video is leading up to, but I can't go ahead and just jump right into that. I have to take you along on the trip. I have to show you how we got here. So I am going to talk about the updates. I am going to talk about the stuff that they did. Again, I don't want to say fix, but they did improve in here. But I do still have to talk about what they put out there because of what it says about this game overall. Let's start by talking about the towers, and let's talk about how they compare to previous games. Now, as I said, in Injustice 2, you would have towers that would change every couple of hours, so you could keep going back in there, and every single tower would give you a certain number of rewards, but they would also give you certain boxes that you could then open, and those boxes would contain several different rewards at random. So yes, people can criticize the random element of that. However, the towers themselves would give you some distinct rewards that you could go into, and you could see those and say, all right, that's what I want to get, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get that thing. But then you would also get tons of extra things that you wouldn't know about, and yes, that does sound a lot like loot boxes, but as I said, I couldn't really even find a way to buy loot boxes, and even if I could, I wouldn't want to because this game just gave me so many of them so often. You do literally anything in that game, you are going to get pieces of armor to upgrade your characters. On paper, this game looks like it's doing the exact same thing. They do have the Towers of Time, and the Towers of Time are towers that change every couple of hours or every couple of days with brand new things that you can do in them in order to unlock brand new prizes. Now, the prizes in here aren't loot boxes because that's not how Mortal Kombat works. Mortal Kombat has the Krypt. This big open area that's been around for several generations now, in which you run around and open up chests, and in those chests you will find the items that you need for your character, or you'll find concept art, or you'll find tons of other prizes that you can use. So basically, what you will get when you do the towers in Mortal Kombat 11 is you will get currency that you can then use in the Krypt. That sounds about like how the other Mortal Kombat games worked, and also, you will unlock specific prizes based entirely around that tower, much like you would in Injustice. So yes, you would be going into the Krypt not knowing what would be in there, but you would be able to find the specific things that you might be looking for by completing these different towers for those characters. Okay, doesn't sound too bad so far. Here is where it becomes too bad. First off, the Krypt, unlike in the previous Mortal Kombat games, is completely random. Why is it completely random? Well, it's because you can't possibly get everything in the Krypt, even when it says this item is found in the Krypt. The reason why is because this game has thousands upon thousands of different items that you can unlock in the Krypt. meaning there isn't nearly enough space in the crypt. And let me just say, the design of the crypt, all the lore they put in there, it looks great. It feels amazing. I will talk about that more in the review. We ain't here to talk about that right now. We're here to talk about the problems with this game. And when it comes to the crypt, yeah, you can now no longer go online and really find any kind of a guide to find the thing that you need. And on some level, I understand their decision to do this. I understand their decision to do this because they did put in there a ton of other stuff that is secret, that can be unlocked, that can be used to find your way further through the crypt, but you are going to still need some kind of hint on that. You're going to have to figure it out with your own brain. And that's the kind of stuff that can get people talking online. So I understand what they wanted to do is they kind of wanted to recreate the early days of gaming where you couldn't just go online and find all the answers. Instead, you had to kind of work with other people to try and figure stuff out. I can kind of understand that on some level. So I'm not even that mad about everything in the crypt being randomized, except for the fact that brutalities are unlocked in the crypt, which means that an actual gameplay function of this game, an actual move that your character can do in the game, has to be unlocked before they can actually do it in the game. Now, you have to also unlock one of the character's 2 fatalities, but that's just to unlock the commands for the fatality. If you know the fatality, if you look that up online, you can go ahead and do it. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to find that in the crypt. But if you want to do their brutalities, you have to be able to find that in the crypt, meaning there's an actual gameplay function hidden somewhere in the crypts, and it's random, so you don't know where that is. So that's a bit of a bummer, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad just yet. Feels like, okay, we'll just keep going in there over and over again, and eventually you'll find this stuff. I mean, it is all hidden there in the crypts after all. All right, well, I'll just go into the towers and play that for a little bit and earn my coins, and then I'll go into the crypt. It is so hard to earn money for the crypts. And I'm just talking about the regular chunk of change. You have to go and play through these towers, which can honestly take you maybe an hour to get through some of them because they are so hard. That is another thing. I'll just skip ahead and talk about that right now. The towers are brutal. They are it's mind-blowing how hard they decided to make these towers, because when you look at Mortal Kombat X, when you look at Injustice 2, there would be little modifiers for the tower. There would be crazy random stuff that would appear on the towers, like blasts raining down from above that would hit all the characters on stage. Here, the opponents will have some kind of an effect. They will have something that damages you, but it doesn't damage them. So now the tower effects only hurt you. But you can try to even the scales. You can try and balance it out by using what they call consumables. With a K, because it's fun, everyone. You can use these consumables, which are one-time only items that you can use to give you some kind of an ability or some kind of an attack that you can use in these towers to help you balance out all the crazy bullcrap that they are throwing at you on the enemy side. Now, they have tried to tap this down because they had to put in a day 1 patch on these towers because they were so insanely hard. Because I swear to you, this is absolutely true. I was going up against a Frost in the towers one night who they would send every 4 seconds a homing missile that was unblockable. But if I tried to go in and attack the Frost, not only would I have to time it so that all my attacks against that Frost would come within the 4 seconds in between each completely unblockable missile, but that Frost also had an effect on her that made it so that if I stood next to her for more than a second, for longer than it took me to do 2 punches to her, I would freeze and I would be in a block of ice. Means she would now just get to attack me back. So think about that. Every 4 seconds, an unblockable homing missile is going to come and find you. It doesn't matter what you do, it is going to hit you. So basically every 4 seconds, you're going to take a chunk of damage. So in other words, the only way to win this match is to do more damage to Frost than you are taking from these homing missiles that come every 4 seconds. But if you go in there to try and do a big enough combo to them, you're just going to get frozen into a block of ice. Mean you're not going to be able to attack, mean they'll be able to attack back, and you're going to get hit by a homing missile. And that Frost had 3 times my life bar, Meaning that in order to beat her, I would have to do 3 times more damage to her than she was doing to me with the homing missiles that came every 4 seconds, but I couldn't do more than 2 hits to her every 4 seconds. That was it. That was just absolutely impossible. It was infuriating. I went online and saw people on Twitch that night going up against opponents who weren't even as bad as that. And these were high-level players I follow on Twitch. These are people who are well known for being very good at this game, and they were looking at these towers saying, this is not a game. This is unplayable bullcrap. So this is not me saying, oh, I just couldn't get good at that. This was broken. This was not something that it was even possible to play. I loaded up on consumables. I was using the best stuff I had unlocked, and still, nothing. So the way that you earn currency in here was broken. You couldn't get that. But they did come in there with this day 1 patch to make the towers easier. And I was watching the combat cast in which they were talking about this. And they said, okay, so we changed it so that the missiles are now blockable. And we changed it so that they now come every 10 seconds instead of every 4 seconds. And we changed it so that the opponents no longer have double your life. Which, by the way, they said double your life. I was doing the math on that. No, they had triple at times. Some of them had double. I was running into some with triple. So they basically came in here and fixed some of the massive problems that I was having with the towers. But I couldn't help but listen to what they said. I couldn't help but listen to them acknowledging the things that were in this game. I couldn't help but listen to them say, okay, the unblockable missiles that come every 4 seconds now are not going to come every 4 seconds. They're coming every 10 seconds. And you can now block the random missiles that come out from off screen. And also, your opponents aren't going to have double your life. Which, by the way, it's not like I was on a hard tower. The towers in here, they're medium, hard, and very hard. First off, why on earth do you have this many towers and they're all medium, hard, or very hard? Why is there not an easy tower? Why is it that easy is not an option on here anywhere? Where's that option for the people who are the really casual players? For the people who, they don't really know anything about this game, but they're trying to get started. Where is that option for them? But also, this was on the medium difficulty, and I beat story mode on medium difficulty, no problem. I played against the single player computer in single player versus matches on medium difficulty, no problem. I played against the classic tower on medium difficulty, no problem. Why on earth, when I went into medium difficulty on the Towers of Time, did it bump the difficulty up so much that now for some reason the opponents had double my life bar? And they were talking about this and those changes that they made, and all I could think was, why on earth did you think that was a good idea? Like, just listing off the things that you just said, just listing off on medium difficulty, the opponents are going to have double your life bar, they're going to send unblockable missiles at you every 4 seconds, and also there will often be other effects, such as you freezing after you hit them twice. How on earth did that get past anyone? It really felt to me like no one played this game. And I don't mean play tested. Play tested means let's make sure the combos work. Let's make sure that nothing is glitching all over the place. Let's make sure this thing functions. I mean, it feels like no one played it. It feels like no one took this game, took it home for the weekend and said, I'm just gonna hang out, I'm just gonna do the different towers and try the different stuff that we've been setting up, see if it's fun and enjoyable. It feels like no one did that on this. And that's when I thought, I think I know what happened here. And we will get to that in a second. But I'm not done with the crazy transactions in here. Because as I mentioned, that was how you got currency for this game. And they have made the towers easier now. However, I have still run into several matches, where the opponents still have double my life bar, and I don't know why. And they still have some crazy effect that's just doing insane amounts of damage to me. I ran into one match, I wasn't even recording this, I had to run and get my recorder because I went, no, I need to show off this crazy bullcrap. I was playing against one opponent who not only did he have double my life, so I had to hit him double as much as he was hitting me, but also anytime I got near them, I would catch on fire. And the fire, because they had double my life bar, was doing more damage to me than I could possibly do to them. I did a throw on them, and the damage that came from my throw was only half the amount of damage that I took from being close to them during the throw by the fire effect. So to beat them, I would just have to stand on the opposite side of the field and just spam projectiles non-stop over and over and over again. And all I could think was, how is this teaching one the game? How is this fun? If you learn and you master a character who specializes in up-close combos, you just can't play this tower. You're done. You just cannot play this tower. That is it. That is your only option on this. Yeah, it really feels to me like they still have not figured these towers out. Now, as I said, just last night, an update did go out, and I did play through several towers last night, and they were now a decent amount of challenging. They did seem like what a regular tower should feel like. However, I would like to remind everyone, this is the second update they've put out. After the first update they put out that they said was supposed to make the towers easier, I still ran into double life bar opponents. I still ran into crazy things that did more damage to me than I could ever possibly do to the opponent. So yeah, even after the first update, it was still broken. So I had one night of good gameplay after this update. I'm not ready to say all is forgiven just yet. I'm not ready to come in here and say, oh, well, clearly they fixed it. I'm going to need to see a couple more days of this before I can actually fully make up my mind on this. But it is important to let everyone know what the towers were like when this thing launched, because as I said, I'm leading up to something on this. But let's go back to the crypt. Let's go back to the place where you need to go in order to unlock all of the customizable stuff that you want to get in this game. As I said, in order to unlock the currency that you need to use in the crypt, you have to play through these towers, which, as I said, up until last night, was insanely difficult. But for every single match that you played, you would unlock coins, you would unlock souls, and you would unlock hearts, each of which are 3 different types of currency that you would need to unlock 3 different types of boxes in the crypt. That's right, there's 3 different types of currency. And you know what, it's not that bad to have 3 different types of currencies. It seems unnecessary. It seems like you really don't need 3 different types of currencies in there, but just saying out loud, you know what, it's not that bad. Here's where it gets that bad. For every single match that you play, you would end up getting about 400 or 500 coins. For every single match that you won, you would get about 10 souls. And then for every single match where you did a fatality, you would get 1 heart. Remember, you would have to do a fatality or a brutality, otherwise you would get nothing. Good day, sir. So we got all the math settled. We know how many coins were gained and how many hearts were gained and how many souls were gained from doing what in this game. All right, great. The cheapest chest that you can unlock in the game is about 1,500 coins. Meaning you could unlock it after about 3 matches, but let's be real, there is nothing in the cheapest boxes that you're really gonna wanna get. Nothing at all. The stuff that you want, the really good stuff, the customizable stuff that you want for your characters, that's gonna be in boxes that are like 1,500 coins. So that's going to take you about 30 matches. And I will say, every single one of the towers did give me additional coins. In fact, in all honesty, when it comes to the cases that were open with coins, I didn't have that much of a problem. There was indeed some grinding. I had to keep playing for long periods of time to be able to open up as many boxes as I could. However, it didn't seem impossible. When it comes to the soul boxes, the cheapest soul box that you can open is 100 souls. You get 10 souls for every single match, meaning it's going to take you 10 matches in order to open up any of the soul boxes. Again, that doesn't seem that bad until you consider how freaking many soul boxes there are out there. It's going to take you a decent chunk of grinding in order to be able to open up a fair number of those soul boxes. And unlike with the coins, where I would be guaranteed to get additional coins with every single tower I did, when it came to the souls, I would maybe get like 15, 20, 25 max additional souls for completing a whole tower chain. Not doing a singular tower, no. If I did like all 5 of the towers that were in one little tower platform, then I would maybe sometimes get an additional 15, 20, 25 souls. That is practically nothing. So when it came to the soul boxes, yeah, those were a little bit intimidating. However, there is one particular soul box out there that requires 10 10,000 souls. And there's other things in the world that require additional souls. There's one bridge that you need to build that requires 2,000 souls. And I rebuilt that thing and thought, oh man, there's gonna be some sweet stuff on the other side of this bridge, only to get there and find there's only one chest on the other side of this, and it is locked behind an additional little puzzle piece that I need to get. So in other words, I just wasted those 2,000 souls. That took me about 200 matches in order to be able to get. And that one box, that requires 10,000 souls, which again, doing the math, means it's going to take you about 1,000 matches in order to be able to get that many souls. What's inside there? I have looked it up online. What is inside that box is an item that you need in order to unlock another door inside the crypt in order to be able to continue exploring the rest of the crypt. Meaning, I still don't even know what all is in the crypt, because I haven't been able to get that 10,000 souls just yet. And I'll get back to that 10,000 souls in just a second, but remember, there is another piece of currency out there. The hearts. And the hearts you get by doing a fatality. If you do a fatality, you get 1 heart. If you do a brutality, you get 2 hearts, but those are way more rare. It's way more guaranteed that you'll just end up doing a fatality. The cheapest thing to unlock in the crypt with the hearts is 100 hearts. But the most common thing to unlock in the crypt with the hearts is 250 hearts. And there is one of those cases for every single character in the game. All 25 characters gets one of their own 250 heart chests. Now, let's go ahead and do the math on this. I would say that on average, a single match takes me about 3 minutes. If I win the match, it's going to take me way less time. If I lose the match, then I'm going to have to re-challenge them, and then of course I have to win the match and do a fatality on them to get 1 heart. So I'd say on average, in order for me to win a match, it's going to take me about 3 minutes. So, let's just do the math on this real quick. It's going to take me 250 hearts. That is 750 minutes in order to get all those hearts. You divide that by 60, that comes out to 12 and a half hours. 12 and a half hours to get just 1 of these chests. And there's 25 of them in the entire crypt. That means if you want to unlock every single one of these chests, it's going to take you 312 and a half hours. But that's to get 25 chests. Remember that chest I said required 10,000 souls? And you get 10 souls for every single match? Well, again, working on the assumption that it takes me about 3 minutes per match, that means it would take me 3,000 minutes to get the souls that I need for that chest. That comes out to 50 hours. 50 hours of grinding in order to be able to open up 1 single chest. And I like to remind everyone, I looked up online what's inside that chest. It's just a key that will allow you to have access to other parts of the crypt, meaning it's basically 50 hours of grinding so you can have the ability to go and find more chests that you will have to grind even more for. It's basically you working for 50 hours so you then have the ability to work for even more hours. However, as I said, just last night, they did put out an update, and I went in there and I played the update to check it out, and now, for every single match that I end up winning, I get about 1,000 coins, and they did significantly up the amount of coins that you get for completing each of the towers. So that's nice, but as I said, I never really had any problems getting all the coins. It was the souls and the hearts. The souls haven't changed at all. There's still 10 for every single match. There was one match where I ended up getting 12 souls, and I have no idea why. They didn't really stop to explain that at all, but yeah, I still basically get about 10 souls. I do have more opportunities to get additional souls by completing additional towers, but again, it's if you complete the entire tower, and then it's only like 25 souls, so I'll be real with you guys, that does not seem worth it. It does not seem worth it when you consider that it can take you anywhere from half an hour to a full-on hour to complete some of these towers. Yeah, it just does not seem worth it for 25 additional souls. But when it comes to the hearts, it went from 1 heart for every fatality to 3 hearts for every fatality, and from 2 hearts for every brutality to 5 hearts for every brutality. Okay, that does cut that time down a little bit. As I said, it would take you about 12 hours before in order to get all the hearts that you need in order to open up one of those chests. Now it takes you about 4, and considering that there's really nice stuff in those heart chests, that's not that terrible, but it's still not good. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are looking at this and going, oh, well, they fixed it. Now it's good. No, imagine if this is what you got in the beginning. Imagine if they told you, yeah, it's going to take you about 4 hours in order to get all the stuff that you need. In fact, I'll be nice on you guys. I'm not that great at the game. I love fighting games, but I am far from being the best pro player at anything. So if you are actually a good player at this game, it probably won't take you 4 hours. It might take you like 3 hours in order to get all the hearts that you need in order to be able to open up some of these chests. And also, there are additional opportunities. Like I said, there aren't many more additional opportunities to get souls, but I did find way more opportunities to get hearts in there. Like if I complete a certain tower, it would now just give me 20 hearts for free. That was nice. There was definitely a change there. You couldn't do that before. So you know what? I'm gonna bump it down to 2.5. Let's say that you now have to grind for 2.5 hours to be able to get the hearts that you need to open up one of those chests. Remember, there's 25 chests out there, meaning it's still going to take you roughly over 60 hours to get the hearts that you need in order to open up all those chests. Not nearly as bad as it used to be. However, as I said, a lot of people are looking at that and saying, oh, they fixed it. If this is what they had out there originally, if originally they put this out there, where it was going to take you over 60 hours of grinding and making sure that you did fatalities every single time in order to get the stuff that you need in order to open up those chests, you'd be pissed. You would not think this was okay. It just feels okay because it's no longer absolutely terrible. It's still you walking outside without a pair of shoes on. It's just there's no longer broken glass everywhere. It went from being unbearably painful to just being really uncomfortable. So it is a huge improvement, but I don't feel like we should be applying them on this, especially considering how many fatalities you still have to do in order to get all these hearts. Because in Mortal Kombat, the fatalities are supposed to be special. They're supposed to be something that is really fun that you look forward to. And it's the thing that helps to define this entire franchise. I'm about 30 hours into this game right now. In fact, probably more like 35 at this point. I'm already done with the fatalities. I don't care about the fatalities anymore. I'm just going through the motions at this point because I've had to do so many of them in order to get these hearts that they've lost all appeal to me. There's nothing special about them anymore. Some matches, I just want to get it over with. I just want to do an uppercut and finish them off. But hey man, you can't do that. You gotta do that fatality so that you can get those 3 hearts. And it just wears me out thinking about how many of these I have to do. It takes one of the most special things about Mortal Kombat and just makes it repetitive and mundane. So yes, they did implement an update, and I am thankful that they implemented it because now it feels doable, but it doesn't really feel fun. It still feels like way too much grinding. It just now feels like grinding that's obtainable. But I'm not done. That's just part of this massive grinding landscape that we have ahead of us. There's so much more to talk about in here. Because as I said, there are more items to be unlocked in the crypt than you can get in the crypt. There's not enough space for it all. So I have already hit that point in which I have had to restock the crypt. What do you do when you want to restock the crypt? Well, you have to go up to this big clock. It's one based around the big villain of the whole game, Kronika. You have to go up there and you have to ask it to reset the chest. And it refills the chest, again, with totally random items. Now, it doesn't tell you what chests get reset, meaning that this huge map that they have created, when you go there to reset the chest, you have to now, once again, go running all around the crypt to find what chest has been restocked. And sometimes it's hidden chests that you need special items to find, and you don't know if you should be looking for it with that special item. You just kind of have to guess at it. But here's the kicker. Here is the killer, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, to restock the chest, you have to go up to Kronika's timepiece and use that in order to restock it. But Kronika's timepiece don't work for free. It costs you 2,000 coins for every chest you want to bring back. So after you unlock that chest, you just go and you open it, right? No, you have to pay all over again to unlock that brand new chest. And it's not just the coin chest. Sometimes it's the soul chests that take you forever to grind to get. I don't know if any of the heart chests refill. I pray to God they don't. But yeah, so far, I've seen the soul chest refill. I've seen the coin chest refill. and I had to pay money to get them to refill so that I could then go back to that chest and pay money again to open them. You literally have to pay money in the crypt in order to pay more money for a thing. Like, if they wanted to make a thing in here where you have to restock the crypt because there's too many items to possibly fit in the crypt, fine, I understand that, but make it a free thing. Make it a thing where, hey, have you found X number of things? Have you opened X number of chests? Great. You now earn 1 Chronica token. Put that token in the machine, it restocks that mini chest. It fully restocks the whole thing. And then, once again, when you have opened up that mini chest, you will once again get another Chronica token. So then you can go out there and open up all those chests once again, and once you have opened up that mini chest again, it will give you 1 more Chronica token that you can go back and use it to restock all those chests, open up that certain number of chests again, you get another Chronica token. That seems like the easy way to make this happen, but no, you have to spend money in order to spend more money. But I'm not done, ladies and gentlemen. We're still going with this thing. This isn't even this game's final form, everyone. No, because you see, in addition to the costumes you can get for these characters, you can also get additional pieces of armor for these characters that changes 3 different things about their look. And let me just go ahead and say, the people who designed the characters in this game, they did a lot of work. And I think the designs in this game look amazing. I know there's a lot of people on the internet right now who are really mad about the redesign of some of the female characters. I think the female characters look better in this game than they have ever looked in this entire franchise. I love their designs, but when it comes to their alternate costumes, not a lot of the characters' alternate costumes are that great. They're all kind of similar to each other. There's a few characters who have some big variety to how they look. There's some characters who do have some costumes that are really different from each other. But most of the characters, costume A is, kind of similar to costume B. Costume B kind of looks like costume C. And it looks like you get like 30 costumes for these characters. You actually get about 5. And again, they're all kind of similar to each other. And then it's just alternate colors for each of those different costumes. So, as I said, this was supposed to be kind of like the armor system in Injustice. I think the armor system in Injustice looks way better. There's so much more variety to what you can do with these characters with the armor pieces in Injustice. Again, not saying what is here looks bad. It does not. I think it looks great, but I was looking forward to that customization element, and there's not as much of it here as there was in Injustice. I think there was more variety in Injustice. But as I said, you're going to unlock these armor pieces. There's 3 different pieces of armor that every single character can have. They can make your character look different in one small way or another. And then there are little slots on each piece of armor that you can level up. And each character gets 2 slots that you can level up. Took me about 3 hours to fully level up 1 piece of armor. And once you have unlocked these 2 slots, you can put an augmentation in there that will cause certain attacks to do more damage. Or it will change some other feature, like it will give you more coins. Not a lot of more coins, but some more coins. As I said, it took me about 3 hours on 1 character in order to open up both of the slots on each of the 3 pieces of armor I had on them. And then I looked, and I saw I didn't have any augmentations that could fit into any of those slots, because the augmentations also have to be unlocked by doing the towers and going through the crypt. Meaning, I have to spend 3 hours on each character to unlock those 2 slots, and then go searching around until I can find the certain augmentations that will fit in the specific type of augmentation slot that is on each piece of armor. Because there's about like 8 different types of augmentations, but there's only going to be 2 of those types on each piece of armor. So in other words, I could load up on several different augmentations for a character. Guess what? None of them are going to fit into the specific type of augmentation slot that is for that character. And it's not even like you get one of the fire augmentations, and if you have a piece of armor that has a fire slot in it, it just fits in there. No, it will say it's a fire augmentation, but it's a fire augmentation for the mask. And oh, my fire augmentation is on the arm, so I guess it just doesn't work like that. Well, then what am I supposed to do if I spent all this time leveling up to get those augmentation slots for that piece of armor? Well, just start leveling up a new piece of armor. You gotta just put a new piece of armor on that character and then spend 3 more hours leveling that up. Well, can't I look at the piece of armor and see what type of augmentation slot it's going to have? No, because that would be easy. That would mean that if I had an augmentation that I really liked and I wanted to use, I could then look at that and go, okay, I'm going to find the piece of armor that's going to fit in. You don't know what augmentation slots fit in each piece of armor until you have spent those 3 hours leveling it up to see what slot is available there. And there's also a third slot on each piece of armor. I have no idea how to open that up. It says, the game tells you each piece of armor only has 2 slots, but there's a very clear third slot there. And there's some token it keeps telling me about that says upgrade the armor or upgrade experience. I have no idea what that's for. Because even though I played this for 30 hours, I still haven't found one. Maybe it's not in the game yet. Maybe it gets added later. But yeah, there are certain things in this game that it gives you that it takes me forever to find. So I would not be shocked if I just have not found that thing yet in 30 freaking hours. But yeah, just think about that. Just think about the fact that it took me 3 hours to upgrade a certain piece of armor. And if I didn't have any augmentation for that, I just had to start on a brand new piece of armor and spend 3 hours working on that. And each of these characters have 30 masks, they have 30 of whatever the next augmentation armor is, and then they have 30 of whatever the third piece of armor is. So that means that you have 30 pieces of armor that even if you are just leveling up each one at the same time, like you're leveling up piece of armor A, piece of armor B, and piece of armor C all at the same time, that means it's still going to take you roughly 90 hours on one character to unlock all the slots for that character. And that's if you find the armor. Remember, you still have to run around the crypt and do all this other side stuff in order to be able to find this armor in the first place. So you have to work your butt off to find the armor, then 90 hours to unlock all the augmentation slots for all the armor for one character. There's like 20 freaking characters in this game. This game does not want you to ever play another video game. If you like this game, they want you to just play it forever. And at this point, you might be saying, well, didn't you mention in Injustice 2, yeah, you would get certain pieces of armor by getting them in the loot boxes, which they don't have in this game, but you would also get certain pieces by completing the towers. Do you still get them by completing the towers? Yes, if you complete the whole tower. You see how it worked in Injustice 2 is that if you completed an entire tower, you would get some really kick-ass armor. You would get some amazing armor sets. You would get some really cool stuff. But then for every single one of the towers inside that whole tower world, whatever you want to call it, the entire tower system. Because every single one of the towers, it's not just one tower. It's like 5 towers that are all part of one big tower chain. So in Injustice 2, if you completed that entire tower chain, you would get some really kick-ass armor. But if you completed one tower, you would still get some armor. You would still get a box. You'd still get some coins. You'd still get something. In here, if you complete one tower, you will get some coins, probably, maybe, hopefully, and then you will get some consumables. As I said, the consumables are the things that you can give your character to hopefully help them in a future battle. But every single tower will not give you enough consumables to use in each fight in the next tower. And you don't even know if the consumables that you're going to get will even help you in the next tower. So what that means is that in order to get the armor that you want on a specific timed tower, remember, these are each timed. So if it pops up and it's got something you want, you gotta beat it now. That's the only chance you're going to get. So that means that if you want that armor that you can only get by completing the entire tower, rather than like in Injustice, where you could just do this tower to get this thing you want, this tower to get this thing you want, and you get a bunch of loot boxes that gives you tons of other armor that you might want, and you get coins for doing it that you can use to unlock other stuff. In this one, in order to get the stuff that you want on each tower, you will have to play through Tower A, which will get you consumables. And those consumables might be able to help you in Tower B. Then you have to play through Tower B, which will get you more consumables, which might be able to help you in Tower C. Then you have to play through Tower C, which will get you more consumables that might be able to help you in Tower D. And then, and only then, if you complete Tower D, will you get that thing that you came into this tower for the entire purpose of in the first place. That is so drawn out and is so unfulfilling. It really makes you feel like there's no point to this. It really makes you feel like, why did I even come in here? Why did I even decide to tackle this tower? Just to get a different skin for this character? I don't even know if I want to play as this character anymore. And instead, all I'm left with are consumables that I cannot use in the crypt. I can't use this to get stuff in the thing that I actually want to get stuff in. I have to use this in another tower to hopefully maybe then get something that I might want to use. You no longer get the things in this game that you want. Instead, you get the things that might be able to help you after 5 more towers get the thing that you might actually want. And I will admit, as I said, I've been playing this a lot. I've already put 30 hours into it, and I've already hit the point in which I have run out of chests. Or at least of the regular chests, not the soul ones or the heart ones, because God only knows it's going to take me years to get all those. But I have already hit that point in which I have run out of the regular currency chest. So I had to use Chronicler's Clock. I had to put 100 freaking coins in that thing to get 50 chests back. And I've gone through and I've been unlocking them. You know what most of the chests are now filled with that I restocked? Consumables, random augmentations, which I don't even know if I can use on my characters. It's filled with pointless crap. It's just filled with pointless crap, and yet, there's still so many costumes for characters I haven't unlocked. There's so many intros and outros for characters. I have barely unlocked any of those, and I had to do special towers for that. There's so many brutalities I haven't unlocked. There's so many different skin colors for characters I haven't unlocked. There's so many different icons for characters, which I don't even want to unlock those, but it's infuriating that I have to, because it's one of the things that you have to get in this game in order to get through that so that you can get to the stuff that you actually do want in this game. That's something else I have to point out. So many people have compared to the unlockables in this game as being like Overwatch. First off, Overwatch will let you spend just the actual coins. Overwatch will let you spend just actual in-game coins to just get the stuff that you want. Yeah, it takes forever for you to be able to do that, but at least you can do that. After 30 hours in Overwatch, I could definitely buy a couple of things that I actually wanted to get in that game. But in here, you just can't do that. And also, I keep hearing people talk about the consumables and various other items that you can get in the chest as being like the sprays in Overwatch. Yeah, the sprays aren't great in Overwatch, but I've still had fun with the sprays. I found a couple of sprays that I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Okay, I'm gonna post this up here. Oh, that's kind of nice. I got a spray of Tracer doing the Akira pose on a motorcycle. That's kind of dope. That's kind of fun. I'll use that here and there. In here, the little icons that you can get for your characters, they're so small and they're so bland, no one wants it. No one cares what icon your character has next to it. That always feels like a waste when I open that up, but at least I know I now have that, so I don't have to worry about getting it again. But every single character has like 20 of those freaking icons. No, they have more than that. They do, because they have 20 that are in white, and then 20 that are in gold, and then 20 that are in red. And they're the exact same icons, just different colors. So in other words, every single character has like 60 icons to unlock. And it's so clear it's just filler. It's so clear that's a thing that no one wants. And it doesn't even look like time was put into it, but it's a thing that is now taking up a spot in the chest that you can possibly open up. But my point is that after I spent 100 freaking coins to restock all these boxes, I was getting nothing out of them. I wasn't getting any more skins. I wasn't getting any more armor. Yeah, there were a few in there, but the ratio was not what it was before. And I still had so many more to unlock. I wasn't even a third of the way unlocking all this stuff for these characters. And yet the game just decided to stop giving it to me. It was now just giving me consumables. It was now just giving me augmentations. And the augmentations do almost nothing, by the way. It's not like in Injustice when you can like double a certain attack power of yours. No, it makes it so that you get +1 to damage. That is it. It does nothing for you. It is such a waste of a feature in this game. But it's there to take up spaces in the crypt. It's there to take up the things that you might want instead. It's there to give you 3 hours to spend on every piece of armor so you can at least do something with it. And it's just insane to me that they're giving me such little rewards now. And I still had to give them 100 coins that I worked my butt off to earn in order to now have to spend more money to get almost nothing in return now. And I haven't even mentioned the Forge. I haven't even mentioned the forge. There is a forge in there where you can take items that you can unlock in the crypt, put it into the forge to get a new item out. That sounds cool. I love that idea. That sounds like an amazing idea. You go around, you find these random items, and you find the correct items, you can use it to create some super thing. It puts an RPG element inside of Mortal Kombat. I think that's so freaking cool. Here's the problem with it, and you all knew there was a problem coming with it. It cost you so many coins, and so many souls, and so many hearts in order to craft any of these things. And you can find recipes in the crypt. You can find in the crypt little recipes that will say, in order to make this item, use this item, and use mystery item number 3. There's dozens of items you can use for crafting. We're not going to tell you in this recipe what the third item is you need in order to make this item. You're just gonna have to guess. Oh, okay. Well, if I put the items in the forge and it's not a correct recipe, do I lose the items? Oh no, we're not evil. We're not going to make you lose those items you spent all that time searching for. Oh, good. Do I get the money back? No. So I could have something that requires me to spend 20,000 coins and 200 souls on, and I have to take a guess on what the third item in that mystery recipe is going to be. Which, by the way, when you unlock a recipe, you can't look that recipe up while you're in the crypt. You can't do it. It's available in your gallery, which is on the main menu, meaning if you want to use that recipe that you found, you have to then exit the crypt, go to your gallery, see what that is in the gallery, then remember that on your way back into the crypt, and then you still don't even know what the third item is. And if you put in there the wrong thing as the third item, you'll get the items back, you're not getting your money back. And as I said, it can take you 20 battles to get the 200 souls that you need to craft some of these items. And this game has been out for a week. I have been scouring the internet trying to find some of these recipes. I have been trying to find some of the other recipes that people have found in here. I haven't found anybody. I've been searching message boards, I've been searching wikis, I've been searching YouTube. I have not found anybody with any guides on any recipes at the time of this recording, and that is mind-blowing to me. In the day of the internet, anytime that somebody figures out an answer to something, it's instantly online and everybody instantly knows about it. No one has the answer to what these recipes are, and I can't blame anyone for that. I can't look around and go, how has no one figured out these recipes? Because everyone across the world looked at that and said, I'm not going to spend that kind of money just to risk maybe not making the item. I'm not going to take that chance. Like, it's insane to me that around the world, everyone has agreed, that's stupid, we're not doing that. That is so crazy to me that a week after this has come out, no one has figured any of these recipes out. It is that punishing. And I know someone out there is going to say, well, at least they're just asking you for your time. They're not asking you for your money, just your time. A couple things about that. First off, I put 30 hours into this game. When Overwatch first came out, after I had put 30 hours into that game, I already had pretty much every single thing unlocked for D.Va. I had already found enough of them in the loot boxes and earned enough coins that I was able to buy all the remaining things I possibly won for that character, because at the time she was my main. Now it's Junkrat. Guess what? I have already unlocked everything for Junkrat. It's nothing compared to Overwatch, and I have to keep bringing that back around because that's the number one thing that people keep comparing this to. I can tell you from someone who has put a ton of hours into both these, it's not the same. It is such a bigger grind in Mortal Kombat. But the second thing is, 30 hours, I still don't really have the thing that I need. Honestly, there comes a point where money isn't as important as time. I got other stuff to do. I don't have time to waste on this game just trying to get this cosmetic stuff. But I want the cosmetic stuff. So why can't I get it even after putting that much time into this? And as I said, some of it's not even cosmetic. The augmentations change how you fight. The brutalities are an actual gameplay element. It's crazy to me that that stuff is locked behind a giant time wall. But here is the third and most important thing about the, well, at least it's your time, not your money argument. It is your money. Because there is a fourth type of currency that I haven't even mentioned yet. Time shards. And you can get time shards a variety of ways in this game, each of which are kind of difficult to earn. You get 10 of them every single time that you level up. But every single day, there's going to be 5 brand new items to purchase. If you want a skin, that costs you 500 time shards. In other words, you have to go up to level 50 before you have enough of those time shards in order to spend on a brand new skin. I put 30 hours into this, I'm at level 44. Now I've gotten some other time shards in here, but it's by doing additional extra stuff in here. It's by finding additional stuff in the crypt, which is totally random and not 100% guaranteed. The only guaranteed way to get these time shards is by leveling up. After 30 hours, I'm not leveled up enough to be able to get skins just on my own. However, you can't buy the regular currency. You can't buy the souls. You can't buy the hearts. Guess what you can buy? You can buy the time shards. And as I said, every 24 hours, they give you 5 different things that you can buy with the time shards. So to all the people out there saying, well, at least it's just your time, it's not your money, it is your money. They are purposely making this grind next to impossible. They are making it to the point where you are going to pull your hair out trying to get the stuff that you want. Heck, if you want to do the brutalities, it's stuff that you need in here. They are purposely making it take that much time so that way, when one of their 24-hour only sales pops up and you look at and you see that thing that you want sitting right there, you're going to say, you know what, screw it, here's my $5. If this was available in the crypt and I knew where it was in the crypt and I could get it by just playing a couple rounds and bam, I would never spend any more physical money on this game. I can't do that. I put 30 hours into this thing. There's the thing I want. Here's my money. Yeah, to the people arguing that there is no paywall in this, to the people arguing that this isn't totally evil because it's not mandatory monetization of stuff, it is. They're just putting in there the non-mandatory monetization. They're putting in there the non-paywall stuff. So that way, anybody who makes the argument that this is a paywall, they can then just turn and point to the non-paywall stuff and go, no, it's right over there. You can get it. It's right over there. But it's next to impossible to get. But you can get it. Aha! See, I'm very clever. It can be gotten over there. You don't have to give us the money for it. But you know, if you do want to give us the money for it, time's ticking down. You got like 2 more hours to make up your mind before it's gone forever and you'll never see it in this store ever again. But you know, good luck in the crypt. You might find it in there one day. One day. Yeah, they have created a system that is designed to drive people so nuts they will gladly spend money on stuff they would not have spent money on before. And as I said, I looked at this and I thought, this is something that, again, if you want to argue, hey, I just bought this for the story mode. Great, perfect, you have everything you want. I just bought this to play online. Great, perfect, you have everything you want. But between Injustice 2 and Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 9, these games over the past several generations from NetherRealm Studios have taken their time firmly establishing the towers, and now with Injustice 2, this new armor system, as being something that draws people in. There are people out there who all they want to do is they just want to play the story mode. Great. There are people out there who just want to play online. But there are now people out there who just want to do the towers. And for the people who just want to do the towers, and who just want to get the different armor pieces, this game came in here and said, we know there's an audience out there that just wants that. And we are going to prey on them so hard. And I looked at that and I just said, they are going so hard on this. And they are making the towers so insanely difficult to the point where, as I said, you freeze after touching someone with 2 hits while unblockable missiles are coming every 4 seconds and they have triple your life. I don't know how anyone looked at that and said this is okay. And then I don't know how anyone tested the crypt and said this is okay. Not play tested. As I said, play tested is making sure it functions, making sure it doesn't glitch everywhere. Even though I will admit my game has crashed on me several times already, but that's a whole other argument. I mean, playing it. I have no idea how someone played this, how someone went, I'm going to pretend to be the consumer. I am going to come in here and go, let me just sit here and enjoy the fruits of our labor, and then come back and go, yeah, this isn't going to work. And that's why I said I'm not going to make a video on this until the story comes out, because I knew a story was coming out. Recently, we have seen so many people in the gaming industry coming forward, and kudos to all of them. They are all brave people for stepping forward and speaking out about this, for talking about the inhumane work environments that so many big AAA studios are forcing people to go through. We have seen so many people talking about the damaging effects of crunch time. We have seen so many people talking about how they have just lost it, how they have had severe mental breakdowns over the amount of work that they have been put through on this stuff. And when I looked at this game and went, it really feels like no one played this, I had that little light go off and go, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then the news story came out. The news story came out that no, they probably didn't play it, because they have been working the most inhumane hours of almost any company I have heard. When I looked at the problems with this game, I originally thought, okay, this was Warner Brothers' fault. This was absolutely Warner Brothers' fault, because Warner Brothers games, they're known for trying to super monetize their games. NetherRealm guys, I trust them. I don't think they did any of this. They were probably forced into doing this. But then you find out that NetherRealm Games was crunching their workers so hard. I absolutely understand how they couldn't have played this. They didn't have time. Several employees from NetherRealm Studios came forward and said, for months now, in the lead up to this game, we have been working 70 to 100 hour work weeks every single week. There are people talking about how they would get home at 2 or 3 a.m. and then have to be at the office at 9 a.m. That cannot function. That is not something that anyone can sustain. People aren't robots, because I got news for you. Even robots would break down from that. You can't have a machine on for that many hours every single day for that long a period of time. It will cease to function, and human beings are more fragile than robots. And yet they were running them at this course. They were forcing them to work so hard on this. And listen, I can make all the arguments in the world for you about how inhumane that is, about how people cannot work that. Hell, I used to work for a politician, and in the week before their election, I had to pull an 80-hour work week. And that was 1 week of the year for a politician before the election, meaning it was before showtime. And it was before they were being voted into office to, have kind of a big important job. They were actually going to decide things like, how roads would function, how people would get to work in the morning, how people's electricity would work, how everything would be able to function in our society. That's kind of a big important thing. Whether or not Mortal Kombat 11 comes out on time is not as big and important of a thing. Whether or not Mortal Kombat 11 is ready in time for EVO 2019 is not as big and important as something like that. And I still only had to do this for 1 week of the entire year. These people had to do these hours for 6 months. I cannot even begin to comprehend what kind of a nightmare they were living in, what kind of punishment they were living with. I can't comprehend how damaging that is to their psyche and their physical well-being. But AAA game studios have proven time and time again, they don't care. They just care about the end product. So that is why I am coming in here today and saying, if you are one of these monsters who does not care about the physical well-being of your employees and all you care about is the final product, your final product has massive problems. And has massive problems because the people on your staff were too freaking exhausted to catch stuff that should be obvious. They were run into the ground to the point where they couldn't even recognize something like unblockable missiles freezing after 2 punches and triple your life bar was a problem. They couldn't even recognize something like that was completely unplayable because they were dead tired. You cannot treat your employees this way and expect the final product to work. We keep seeing this. Has there been a crunch story that has come out in which everything worked out fine? Has there been a crunch story where everything was just hunky-dory? I mean, I know that there was that story about the guy who worked 100 hours over at Rockstar on Red Dead, but the more I looked into that, the more it looked like it was like, yeah, it was just a one-time thing, and I didn't even really mind it. And honestly, I did it because I wanted to, which, granted, there's a whole argument to that right there. The whole, well, I did this because I wanted to. Yeah, that means they wanted to keep their job. That means, yeah, they told me I didn't have to work 100 hours. They just gave me a certain amount of work that required 100 hours to complete. And if I didn't finish all my work, I would be fired. So I kind of had to do that. So there is that argument to that, but as I looked into it, it didn't look like it was as big of a problem over at Rockstar as it has been for things like Epic Games, as it has been for BioWare and for Anthem and now for Mortal Kombat. This is a game that has massive problems that anybody could have caught. Anybody who played this for a day. As I said, I stopped playing the story mode at about 2 a.m. and then was up for the next 6 hours just looking at how messed up this game was. I caught it in 6 hours. Anybody who had even a weekend to play this thing would have gone, this is messed up. This thing doesn't even, how are we going to put this out? Anybody who played this for a weekend would have been able to catch these problems. But I don't think anybody had that time, because they were run into the goddamn ground on this thing. So I do not blame the people at NetherRealm. I blame the people at the top at NetherRealm, because there are many people at NetherRealm who reportedly, they went home at 5. They went home when the bell buzzed. As soon as quitting time was here, the bosses all got to leave. That's something that was reported in that news article. You can find it on PC Gamer. They just got up and left, while everybody else, all the people below them, had to keep working their butts off. So I don't blame any of the people who designed this game. I don't blame any of the people who worked on this game. I blame the people at the top at NetherRealm Games who demanded that they work those hours. And I also blame the people at Warner Brothers Games who, put pressure on the people at NetherRealm at the top and said, make sure that we can make a ton of money off this game by making it loaded with different microtransactions in there. That those are the people to blame. So I don't blame any of the people who had to work their ass off on this game, and I can only pray that in the future, and in the very near future, because let's be real, I don't think people really have a lot of time left on some of these games. I think that the gaming industry is reaching a breaking point right now. I really do. I think the gaming industry is reaching that point where it is about to snap. With how many stories have been coming out about massive crunch, about inhumane working environments, I pray that we can see unions start to form. And for anybody out there who is about to say, oh, but with these work environments, sure, they're bad, but we get more games because of that. Go f*** yourself. I am sorry. Go f*** yourself with that argument. People's lives, people's mental well-being are not worth having this many games. And also, have you looked at how many games we've had this year? I have not had time to play everything this year. I have had people asking me to play Days Gone. I've had so many people saying, could you please play Days Gone? I want to hear your thoughts on it. I don't have time for that. Do you know, I didn't get to play Anthem when it came out. I had to skip on that thing, even though that was a massive thing that everyone was talking about, because I just didn't have time. And do you know how many indie games have come out that I haven't even been able to look at because just the AAA market alone has been dominating so much of my time this year? There are enough games out there. It's not worth breaking people's spirits, breaking people's bodies, breaking their well-being, so that you can now have more games on top of the already too many games that we have to begin with. Our gluttony for constant entertainment, when there's already so much out there, is not a good excuse to destroy this many people's lives. I was not expecting to get on this big of a soapbox. I really just wanted to talk about the crappy microtransactions in this game, but those are my thoughts on the problems with Mortal Kombat 11. As I said, we're going to do a spoiler talk in which I talk about the story in this, because that actually is really good. And we are going to do a full-on review of this game in a few weeks. But this was something that I was going to need to talk about in that review. And this thing has been going on for about an hour. I was not going to talk for 10 minutes about the positives in this game and then for an hour about this problem. I had to get it out of the way now. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this whole crazy situation down below. If you like this video, spread it around the web. It is the best way to help our channel grow. In case you just missed it, we are a fairly new channel, but we did videos about games on a different channel for years before this, and we had to pick everything up and move it over here. And it's always kind of scary, picking everything up and moving to a new channel. So if you can spread the word, that really helps us out. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I really want to end on a positive note, but let's just end by sending our well wishes and our prayers to the people who had to work on this game and probably drove themselves to the breaking point on it. And I just hope that NetherRealm and Warner Brothers learns from this. I hope the whole gaming industry learns from this. Bye, everyone.